How many of you are into role play? Show of hands. Okay. Well, by some of the looks on some of your faces, I can tell we might be having two different conversations. When I say role play, what I mean is the roles that we play in life. I'm sure that all of you have at least one title: mother, father, husband, wife, sister, brother, business owner, speaker, entrepreneur, coach. I could go on, but we all share that we have multiple roles we play in our lives. What we don't realize is that as we play these roles in our lives, sometimes we lose sight of ourselves. We're so busy trying to be the best this and that we can be, that we don't remember all of the things inside of us because we're trying to be the best of all these things that all these people and all these things need from us. So I'm going to share a little bit of my journey to kind of help express what I mean, if that's okay. I woke up at 32 years old and looked at the woman in the mirror and had no clue who she was. I had 2 kids in high school, had just ended a very toxic relationship, and I didn't know who I was without those titles of wife, mother, business owner, freelance writer, ghostwriter, all these things. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what I like to eat, drink, or do for fun. That's ridiculous, right? Everyone in their 30s knows what they like, but I didn't. I felt foolish. I felt ashamed. I remembered the little girl that I was and the very feisty teenager that I was, and I used to dream big. I mean, I wanted to be the first female LA Dodger. For those of you that don't know, that is a professional Major League Baseball team, and I was adamant I was going to be that. I wanted to be a New York best-selling author. I wanted to be a homicide detective and a psychologist, and I was going to do it all. I was going to just take over the world. But I lost sight of all of that because I was too busy being what other people needed me to be. What I didn't realize is that by being all of those things that they needed me to be, I was actually failing them and myself. Because when we aren't our best selves and we're not pouring into ourselves, we can't be the best for other people. The best we can be for anybody around us is what we need, by giving ourselves what we need. So I did start to try new things to discover what it was that I liked and what I wanted to do with my life at that point. I jumped into another relationship because that's going to fix everything and give me my purpose, right? No, that didn't work. In just a couple of months, I realized he's looking at the TV and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this is monotonous. And once again, my life has no purpose. So got rid of that relationship. Then I got in with a new social group and I started partying and going out, because that's what women in their mid-30s do when they're finishing raising children. That kind of wasn't fulfilling either. I mean, I was having fun, but I wasn't actually doing anything. I wasn't providing any value to myself or the people around me. So I started thinking about what I wanted in life, and I got back in touch with some of those dreams that I had. I got the courage to release my first novel in my own name. Not a New York Times bestselling author yet, but I am an international bestselling author now. I mean, Amazon, that's helped. But I also started saying yes to trying new things, trying all the things that I wouldn't let myself try before. I might like it, I might not, but I'll never know if I don't say yes to try, right? So throughout that process, I would like to encourage you all to say yes to things to see if you like it or not, as long as it's not hurting other people. What I learned, though, was that I had to stop hiding. I had to stop hiding behind the scenes. For over 2 decades, I was a ghostwriter and a freelance writer and doing all these things behind the scenes. I ran my ex's business from behind the scenes. I did all of those things and hid behind all of those roles, and I wasn't really bringing forth who I am. I was hiding that. And not only was I hiding myself from the world, but I was hiding myself from myself. And when we don't see ourselves, how can anyone else? When we don't trust ourselves, how can anyone else? How can we trust anyone else? So through that process, I stepped out from behind the scenes. I started learning who I am, how to actually show up and be proud of who I am, because everyone is not meant to be in my vicinity, and I'm not meant for them either. Not everybody. So finding our tribe is important. Finding people who have like-minded goals is important, right? But it's most important to be good with who we are and who we see in the mirror, because everything outside of us is a reflection of that. So we actually only see ourselves in a 2-dimensional form: a reflection in the mirror, which is ourselves, two-dimensional flipped around, or even a photograph, which is the way other people see us, but again, two-dimensional, it's flat. So most of us start to pick ourselves apart. What we see in the mirror and what we see in these photographs, that's too big. This is too little. We're too this, we're too that, right? We keep feeding into what people have told us our entire lives. And we pick ourselves apart worse than anyone else ever could. Those insecurities, especially in today's technological world, become bigger. So we hide them with Photoshop, with filters, with surgeries, with eating disorders, and we continue to fix something or pick this apart until we no longer can. I'm not shaming anyone or judging anyone. I did mention surgeries. Some people have had them. If you're good with who you are and you just want that little extra, I totally understand that. But what I'm speaking to is when people have one surgery after another because, okay, I fixed this. Like, okay, I fixed my nose. Oh no, now my chin is not right. So let me fix this. Oh no, now this isn't right. And it becomes a circle because really they're unhappy and hurting on the inside. So everything they see in their reflection in the mirror is just screaming at them how imperfect they are. The reality is you're perfect the way you are. The reality is no one can be you. The reality is the way everyone else sees you is so much different than the way you see yourselves. I'm going to share a quote. I don't know who to attribute as the author, but I love this quote that I found on the internet. You are so used to your features that you don't know how beautiful you look to a stranger. Now I'm talking about finding yourself beautiful, but it's important to keep this in mind. We project our insecurities on the world around us. They say women are catty. That's because we're told we need to be perfect at everything, right? From a very early age. Be the best wife, be the best mother, be the best whatever it is that you are. So then all of our insecurities, because we're not the best and we don't know how to be the best, catch up to us. And then we're looking at all these other women thinking they have it together. So we start picking them apart, not realizing that the reason we're doing that is because we don't feel good about ourselves. And when we pick these other women apart, all that's showing is our own insecurities. So when we can look at other people instead and be like, oh man, she has amazing hair. Look at her gorgeous eyes. That outfit is great. When we uplift each other, we're uplifting ourselves. And we're teaching those around us to do the same as long as it's authentic. So it's more powerful for yourself and for those around you to celebrate each other's light, right? I have an analogy that your light cannot diminish mine. And mine cannot diminish yours. But if we combine our lights, we'll shine brighter than the Luxor in Las Vegas. That's supposed to be the brightest light in the world. But anyway, so in addition to seeing those beautiful things in other people, what we tend to do when we're picking each other apart is looking at those things that we're insecure about ourselves. For example, when I was in high school, the bodysuits were all the rage, right? Those tops that snap between the crotch, for those of you that might not know. And I did not realize that I have an extremely long torso. So I didn't know why those things hurt me because they're going in places they should not be going. My friends love them and they're so comfortable and great. And I'm like, no, these things suck. I hate them. Now I understand, so they're popular again. I'm not wearing those. Those are not meant for my body. But what we tend to do is whatever we're insecure about, we tend to pick it apart and look at other women. Or men. Men do this too, I have found. So if, for example, I will share, my biggest insecurity as far as my physical form is my lower belly. So when I look at other people, I'm like, oh man, her stomach is gorgeous, or things like that. I have a really good friend who, when I see her, she has this amazing hourglass figure, this tiny little waist. She says she has fat knees. I died laughing the first time I heard her say this. I've never heard somebody say they had fat knees. But for her, she calls them her tree stumps and all kinds of other colorful things. So when she's looking at other people, she's like, oh, their legs or whatever. So when she looks in the mirror, that's the first thing she sees. So when we're shopping and picking out outfits, I'll be like, oh, here, this will look cute on you. And she's like, I'm not putting that on. It's too short. So we learn to accommodate those things that we don't like per se and focus on the things we do like and encourage that in other people. What I discovered through all of this, in pursuing my dreams, I accidentally came to something that I never thought I would want to do, which in addition to being a writer and an author and a speaker, which was not something I thought I wanted to do either, I became an image consultant and stylist because of the way a woman who did that changed my life. I got to see myself in an entirely new way. I got to see myself as a work of art. I am a work of art. I would like you to all say that with me. I am a work of art. Okay, you guys can do better than that. I am a work of art. That's right, you are. Each of you is your own masterpiece, because there's no one in this world that has lived before or ever will with your unique set of gifts, your unique set of experiences, your perspectives, and everything that you take on in this world. And I do believe in that butterfly effect, the ripple effect. Every single person we come into contact with, even if it's a stranger on the street we don't speak with, just a smile, you never know what that can do for someone. In one of my darkest moments, I went to a gas station and the man asked me how I was, and I just started crying because nobody had asked me how I was in so long that I didn't know. And I realized how not good I was in that moment. But that kindness stuck with me for more than 10 years because somebody saw me. And everyone deserves to be seen because you are a masterpiece. What I would like to do is invite you to think about it this way. I believe beauty is an inside-out process. When we feel good, we look even better. When we feel comfortable, we come across with more alignment into who we are. So think of a con artist. Even if people get duped, later on they'll be like, I knew there was something off, I just couldn't put my finger on it. When we don't feel good and we're not completely in alignment with ourselves, there's something missing, and subconsciously everyone around us sees that. It's like we're hiding in plain sight and those connections aren't fully created, because being good with us and feeling good in ourselves is truly one of the most important things to be there for ourselves and connect with others. And we are all connected in one way or another through, I think it's 6 people now, the degrees of separation. So we're all connected, and everything that we do in life affects everyone around us. So what I would like to challenge everyone to do is every day, give yourself 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to spend some time alone with yourself in the mirror and look at yourself and pick 3 things to compliment yourself on, physical and inside. And if you want, for extra credit and bonus points, you could do 3 things that are physical and 3 things that are inside. It's going to feel really weird at first. Really weird, especially if you're coming from a place where you've had a lot of insecurities and you don't really know how to compliment yourself. You don't know how to receive that yet. And I'll hold space for you. If you need help, I will hold your hand through that process and hold space for you, because it's so important to be able to look in the mirror and see your gifts and your beauty. I recently polled a group of people that I was working with to see what they thought their best and least attractive physical qualities were. 95% of the people, I made them name 3 things. 95% of them said eyes, smile, or something along that. Only 1 person responded with she loved her body. Only 1. This was among men and women, and we have got to do better. Our bodies are magnificent machines that get us through everything, and I guarantee if I could spend 5 seconds with any of you, I could at least point out 5 things very quickly that are incredibly beautiful about you. That's just 1 per second. Give me longer, I'll tell you more. But what I see in you is not as important as what you see. Spend some time with yourself. Get to know yourself. Get to love yourself. See yourself as the masterpiece that you are, because no one else can be that masterpiece except you. And what would our world look like if we all looked the same? That would be very boring. Could you imagine walking into an art gallery or a museum and seeing the same thing on every single wall? I would want my money back. And if it was free, I would want them to pay me for wasting my time, right? It's that way with people too. Every single one of you is a masterpiece, and you deserve to frame yourself as such, and you deserve to feel that. And when you feel good and you can be confident and feel good in who you are and look good, you're going to affect everyone around you just the same. And it makes it easier and easier to compliment other people. When you really feel the urge, try this. A random stranger, tell them something that catches your eye. Usually we dismiss those things because it seems weird. But if I see somebody who has amazing eyes or lips, or the girl behind the counter at a coffee restaurant or something like that, I share that. Oh my God, your eyes are beautiful. Oh, that outfit is great. Anything that comes to mind, as long as it's authentic, because you never know what that might do for them. But don't forget to do it for yourself too. You are a masterpiece. Thank you.